So today we are viewing Kwame Alexandra prequel, Rebound.
Yes, but if you don't know, my name is Shenelle.
And I'm Gennelle.
And this is Shenelle and Gennelle, where book talk meets culture. So let's slam dunk right into this.
There we go. Boom, 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 boom,
Oh God, that was my...
All right.
Boom. All right, that was our hype up intro.
That's
Okay. So this book, Rebound, is the sequel.
Nope.
Is this a sequel?
Prequel.
Prequel of, oh yes, you're right. Prequel of crossover. And if you don't know what a prequel is, it's when you have a book that happens after the first book, but it's about events before the first book.
Right.
Follow me? So the events that happen in crossover, this is prior to crossover, but was published after crossover was published.
Yeah.
So if you didn't read crossover, which was the video prior to this, you can watch crossover. Well, you can read crossover and then read this one.
I read the book in reverse. I read it in reverse, and I enjoyed it the other way.
Yeah.
I preferred. It was.
It gives it away though. The last chapter in this book.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. It does.
I was equally as surprised.
Yeah, because you would be.
Yeah.
So in this book,
so
you want to give the summary?
It's about the twins Josh and JB's father.
Yeah.
Who is called Chuck the Man. They call him the Man.
Chuck Bell.
The Man. Yeah, Chuck Bell, the Man. And how his it talks about his history with his father, right?
Well, yeah. Well, it talks about the relationship he has with his father, but it's only foreshadowed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's really focused on the relationship with him and his grandfather.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's relationship him and his grandfather, and the time he spends with his grandfather and his cousin Roxy.
Yes.
Roxy.
So we don't want to give away why he's with his grandfather, but because that's a big thing in the whole story. But he's spending time with his grandfather and his cousin Roxy, who is the one who introduces him to basketball.
Yeah, he's really into graphic novels, which is a whole nother thing. I thought comic books. Yeah, he was into comic books, which I thought this is, even though it was named Rebound, I'm like, oh, okay, wait, I'm looking for the character, who's gonna be like the superhero kind of nerd, which he is. He is a superhero nerd until he gets introduced to basketball when he goes to visit his uncle. Grandfather.
Yeah.
So. And
it follows similar life lesson stuff, like crossover, but in a more mature way. I guess too because these events happened prior to the twins being born. So
this is their father.
Yeah. So the references in this book is a little more dated.
Right. Yeah. Because it takes place in an older time period. But I also like his. I think there's some heavy themes that come through between this book and the other book, right? You have life lessons that are learned, him getting knowledge from the grandfather. There's an aspect of legacy. Once again, strong male presence, strong character presence in the Black community.
The family dynamics is really strong. The relationship he has with his cousin, extended family relationship. Family support. A big thing that was very out there in this is how the family deals with grief and loss, which is very interesting in the story, how that relates to how he develops a love for basketball. The book is all poems, so it goes by, like crossover, has a very fast beat, goes by really fast. The book is thick for...
Yeah. Are you going...
Are we... Well, I could save that for the ace. Let's see.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the summary. If I would say that was a summary, even for someone that obviously enjoys basketball.
And I think basketball. Yeah, and I think in this book in particular, I felt like it was going through the stages of grief. And
I think the stages of life, family dynamics, I felt both the books had a similar theme with that.
It had me it had moments where you were intense though. You were like, your heart was beating like, oh no, is this really gonna happen? Like, you're like rooting for the character, you're cheering them on. Also similar to crossover, you fall in love with the characters very quickly.
Very quickly.
And if you read the book in order, like you're supposed to, then you would actually get that. You'll see the sequence of, you'll be trying to put together like how characters are related, and then you get it towards the end, like,
I tell you, even though I read it out of order, I had the similar experience. It did not matter. It did not affect the experience for me. I'm telling you.
Because Rebound and Crossover, they intertwine. The worlds not intertwined literally, but you get characters.
When I read it, it was just as I was still surprised and left open with it. But let's try to talk about the ACE in this book.
Yeah, so let's see. ACE stands for accessibility.
Yes, is the book accessible to readers, especially those that are struggling to read? Can they read the book independently?
Or with some support.
Support.
Is the content relatable? C, cultural relevance. Is the book representing or correctly reflects the culture in which it's speaking about, representing, or showing in the story? And
E, is the book engaging, entertaining for readers? Does it get you moving throughout? Does it get you moving and thinking while you're reading?
So I'll start with the A, accessibility. I think this book is accessible to high schoolers, especially those who may be reluctant to read or struggling to read. Are there going to be vocabulary words in there that they don't know? Yes, because this is Kwame Alexander, and I think one of his goals is to increase people's vocabulary. Yes. I like that he puts definitions of words in his work. So if they don't know it, it's right there. They don't even have to go get a dictionary. Who uses dictionary? To look it up on Google.
Yeah.
So I think it's accessible, and the beautiful part about it, it's poetry and short poetry. Yeah. It's right there, and some parts where it's double meaning in some elements of the poetry, and others it's not very straightforward, which makes it a quick read.
Yeah,
it's you could go through the first 50 pages and be like, whoa.
I think this is what is one of my go-to books for struggling readers, because it's thick, right? And the cover looks very mature. And even though the language, it's there's not much words on the page, because there's so the poems can be so short.
Yeah.
So it's you're getting through the book through these poems, and it's not it may look like it's going to be an intimidating read, but it's actually really an easy, light read. So I feel like it's not something you can give this to someone who's a struggling reader and they won't feel embarrassed about walking around with this book, versus if they're reading at a picture level book, their reading level is really low, and you don't want to say, hey, you're really at this reading level, it's a picture book. This is a good one. Not that the vocabulary is so low, but it's just that accessible even to struggling readers.
So I think when it comes to accessibility, absolutely
A+ all the way.
Cultural relevance. Okay. I was going to try and make y'all think that it wasn't, but it is. It's culturally relevant.
Yeah, it's culturally relevant. There's actually one aspect of the book where he actually gets in trouble for that part. I'm gonna give it away. I'm gonna have to give it away for this one. So he gets in trouble for I think they got caught with some weed or something. It depends on how people feel about that. So that, I don't know. I won't say that's a cultural thing. I would just say you have to be mindful of that if that's a big thing. I think
the age group will be okay.
Yeah, I think the age group you'll be okay with that. When he gets in trouble with something.
Yeah, I think this will be more late middle school, high school students.
And if you don't think your kid knows about that,
you're naive.
No, that's it. No, listen. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna give you that little
okay.
Your kid knows about it already.
So yeah, there's a little So I think there's a little stuff in the book where he gets into a little trouble, but nothing that I think is too bad. Culturally relevant. If your kid is interested in, once again, basketball.
Or sports in general.
There's a female character in this book who's very interested in sports also. So once again, this book is not only for boys, also for girls.
But also the female character in the beginning of the book who he liked. Remember? I don't want to give away who she is, but yeah. But she was very smart and very smart. Use all these big words. It was very nice how they kind of.
I was gonna say with regards to cultural relevance is that it's I forgot what I was going to say.
My bad.
Kind of cut off my flow. Oh, positive role model for Black families. Even though the family structure in this book is represented differently because of the situations and circumstances that's happening in the book, the family structure is there's positive role models. Things that are going on around their environment in the community it's not all peaches and cream, it's not all lilies and stuff, but the way the family responds is positive, which I think sometimes books reflect only the negative things that how families respond, but this shows family unity and community that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
What about engagement?
Very engaging. I mean, even though it's a thick book, I mean, somebody could finish this book. Probably not in a day. If you're a really, really great reader and you're reading all day, maybe in a day or two. But if you're an average reader, this book can take you a week or less, because the poems are very, very short and it's very, very engaging.
Yeah, and it also has picture graphics in there too. It's not a graphic novel, but there's some graphics on some pages. And yeah, I think it was engaging. Once again, very fast beat. Some of the poems are so short, it makes you feel like while your heart is beating, you want to get to the next page because it ends so short. It ends so quickly. You're like, oh no, did that happen? You want to go to the next, especially when he gets tied up in a little bit of trouble. You're like waiting for like, oh no, what's going to happen? What's next going to happen?
All right, challenge.
Okay.
Extended activity, if you were to give this to a group classroom.
Extended activity. That's a good one.
I would say, for me, they can recite any of the poems. They can play out any of the poems. Reenactment. They can list debates in it about what he gets in trouble for and whether or not it's worthy of the trouble, or if there's a punishment fit the crime type of thing that he encounters. The little games that he plays with his mom, in the beginning, like how they engage conversation. I would play on that a little bit.
I think bringing up family traditions might be one that you could extend in. Like he has a few family traditions that happens in this book, and maybe how it's similar or different to your family tradition. Also, I think that even though people don't like to go to the sad part of what's going on in this book, the undertone of the grief that the character is experiencing, I think it is a topic. I think like if you have to deal with grief or something that's a topic but that might be hard to bring up, this book I think hints on that in a way, like how the main character overcomes his grief, not overcomes, but actually lives with his grief and deals with it in the time period in which he's in and how he handles it. So I think for me, I think an extended activity would be to think of a topic or a person in your life who has had an impact on your life that's either with you or not with you, and how you are, how you can honor them,
honor their legacy, or something like that. That's great. I like that.
Yeah.
So, long story short,
this book is an ace.